Hello my friends and welcome to my boss guide for the Deacon. I am Icon and this video is going to show you how to beat this guy without breaking a sweat with a bunch of Soulslingers and a little bit of a cheesy strategy. Pulling this off with quite a low level bunch of Soulslingers, I'd really recommend you to do this with like at least level 5 or 6 daughters with well equipped memories, but we're going to show you that this is possible even if you're poorly equipped and just right off the bat. So, if you like this kind of content, check out my channel and you're going to find plenty of other nice stuff there, and you just need to slap on a subscription and you won't miss any future things. So, let's get into this fight. I enabled fast combat for the sake of the tutorial because, you know, those animations are really fancy, but this fight would take a lot longer if we did it otherwise. So, phase 1 of this guy. The first really important thing is get your daughters close and activate all the shadow rounds you can. And most importantly, also intercepting rounds. In phase 1, the Deacon is quite harmless, I've almost said, but that's not entirely true. Phase 1 is only him randomly selecting daughters as target for a confession, and then he starts to go crazy on one daughter, trying to attack the hell out of her, trying to beat out a confession out of her, and the others get rooted. That's why I'm moving all my daughters into the vicinity of this guy as quick as possible, because if you don't, you end up with single units rooted out of the combat, and that's quite nasty because you can't move them otherwise. So we're cramming up our people here, and let's bring up the reactions. And I'm bringing up intercepting rounds for everybody, basically because I don't know when he'll go into confession mode, because once he does that, he gets a boost of initiative to get more actions out of, and that can be really nasty if you're not ill prepared. So Mass is your standard AoE Mass attack, which just does a ton of damage. Getting interrupted here by the intercepting bullet. So there we go. Always enable the daughter's own shadow round when you're going for that strategy before firing, because her shadow bullet will now get triggered by the other by the shadow bullets of the other daughters. That's quite cheesy, but super effective. So phase 1 lasts until he got until he suffered 50% of his damage, and there we go. Every 15% of his HP, he goes into confession. So I don't know who's the target of the confession here right now. I think it was Victoire. You see, the others are rooted, and right now Victoire is targeted, but I'm going to use the shot. And he moved a lot forward on the action bar there, and you're going to see how much of a dance he'll going to pull off in a second. So once he goes into that mode, he'll stay there for the next 15% of damage, or until he kills somebody, I'm not that sure. But the most important part to know is he gets a massive speed burst and he drops his armor finally. So you can thwack quite good at him. As you see, he's melting down quite hard. So yeah, we're taking some damage here, sadly. It seems to me that I'm out of intercepting rounds, and let's continue the dance. Activate that and keep firing. The intercepting rounds are practically all that stands between you and annihilation of this guy. So the more HP your daughters have, the better. But don't use these skills sparingly in this fight, because one intercepting round not pulled up in time can make you lose a daughter. So I'm having some armor strip on Constance, triggering quite nicely. And there he goes again in confession mode, because I pressed so much damage in him. And there we go. Shadow rounds countering. Lots of damage coming in. Alright, so let's counter that next attack, and now he's below 50%, and now his behavior changes massively. The lower you get him, the better, because this is really a super nasty phase of the fight. So first he shoves somebody away. Now comes the pilgrimage, where he travels randomly away, and luckily we can intercept a little bit of that, but this phase is really nasty because he acts quite often and gets a very nasty counter. I'm going to explain it because this time we seem to get lucky. So, no, we're going to annihilate him like that. Okay. So as you see here, with this strategy you can annihilate him really quickly. The higher the level of your daughters, the quicker the victory comes. So he cancelled his confession mode now, and I'm going to leave Harmony at this point, and I'm not going to use her skills. Leave at this stage always one daughter below 50%. Above 50%. It's so important because you're going to lose people really nastily. So the Holy Cross reaction is a skill which triggers whenever the Deacon gets struck by somebody. It sends out a shockwave cross-shaped which pushes away people 2 squares and deals moderate damage. The thing here is he set up that massive AoE skill which will deal 900 damage to whoever is sitting in there, which is quite deadly. So once he's in that phase, keep your people in the inner square, put up the shadow rounds, put up the intercepting rounds, and sit there like a sitting duck and don't attack him, because he'll profit massively out of that. So instead, we're just sitting here, hiding wherever we can. Like, if you stand exactly diagonally to him, you're not going to get hit by that. So, there we go. Setting the situation up as good as I can. And Constance is sadly still in the AoE, but if we're lucky we can intercept that out. And yeah, we're going to win it out of that, I guess. So with enough intercepting bullets, we're winning that. And now he goes into the same pattern again, turns up the Holy Cross, and the curse is not counterable. He always hits that, you can't intercept that skill. So you're going to get some guaranteed damage, and now we're in the same phase as before. He activated the Holy Cross, so I'm not attacking. I'm just stacking up my skills here and ending the turn and waiting it out. Because attacking him here in that situation just ends you pushing your daughters into that massive AoE and having some trouble. But one thing you can do, here I have Constance having 1 intercepting bullet loaded. I can now shoot 1 time and profit out of that. Well, I'm going to kill him. But what would happen now would he would activate the cross, which would get countered by the intercepting bullet, and you're good to go. You can shoot 1 time with that, but you shouldn't stress that out too much. It's much safer to just wait until that wears off and wait for a moment when the Holy Cross is down and then give him hell. Then you can just fire away and deal as much damage as you can. Most important things are, though, in the last phase, always have 1 daughter at least up with AP 50 or more, aka not in burst mode, because this way you have a high chance of sending one of your Soulslingers into intercepting bullet, and that will save the day if somebody ends up out in the big AoE, because the big AoE can be countered by the intercepting bullet. So you can do that same fight also with melee units, but you'll also need those counter skills. The Shield Bearer has a pretty nasty counter attack, and the Blade Master too, so you can do that, but the Soulslingers are just foolproof, and as you see, it was a low-level squad, level 4, all of them. I actually started the game day 1, just with the starting equip. Voila, we won that. I hope I was able to help you a little with that guy. And one thing, keep in mind, sometimes you just happen to have bad luck with the initiative bar, and this guy just flat out annihilates your team. Just sometimes there's bad luck, and you can't counter that. Just don't give up if he annihilates you still if you're using that tactic. Just try it one or two more times, then you're going to get lucky. So feel free to drop me a comment or whatever. A like would be welcome. Yeah, I hope I was able to help you. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Goodbye.